Welcome back, Focus Learners. So, we are jumping right into today's explainer, and if you've been feeling totally overwhelmed by the absolute tidal wave of noise surrounding artificial intelligence in the classroom, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're opening up the ultimate playbook for integrating ChatGPT into education. We're going to ignore all the hype and focus entirely on how you can use this tech to save massive amounts of time, reduce your burnout, and fundamentally extend how we all teach and learn. Our main guide today is this super practical piece of work by Stan Skrabut, specifically his guide, 80 Ways to Use ChatGPT in the Classroom. He tackles the sudden, crazy arrival of generative AI head-on. But what's great is that rather than just philosophizing about it, he gives us highly actionable, ground-level tips for both educators and students. Now, 80 ways is a whole lot to digest at once, so we've built a quick roadmap for this explainer. First, the AI classroom disruption. Second, mastering the perfect prompt. Third, supercharging course preparation. Fourth, the ultimate teaching assistant. And finally, empowering the student experience. Let's get into it. All right, Section 1, the AI classroom disruption, navigating the elephant in the room. We really have to acknowledge this. Back in November 2022, ChatGPT leaped onto the scene and absolutely jolted higher education. It was a massive shock to the system, kind of like the invention of the calculator or the internet itself. If your first reaction was panic, that is completely valid. The whole landscape literally shifted overnight. Just like the author points out, the education world split into two camps almost immediately. On one side, you've got the strong drive to ban it outright because, let's be real, there's a very genuine fear of cheating and plagiarism. But on the flip side, others see it as this unprecedented tool to extend learning. For the rest of this explainer, we are planting our flag firmly in that second camp. We're looking strictly at the immense upside here. Moving to Section 2, Mastering the Perfect Prompt, Rules of Engagement. If we want to move from playing defense to playing offense, we have got to master the foundational skill of this whole new era, and that is prompt engineering. Remember, the AI is only as good as the instructions you give it. Garbage in, garbage out, right? Here are the 5 golden rules for making this work. Number 1, be incredibly specific. 2, use an iterative approach. Basically, don't expect magic on the very first try. Just build your prompt in phases. 3, ask the AI to improve its own work. 4, use the ACT as framework. Tell it to act like a debater or a travel guide or even a Linux terminal to shape what it gives you. And 5, this is the most crucial one, always validate. The AI is not perfect. You are still the human expert in the room who has to review and apply critical thinking to everything it spits out. Just look at the difference a good prompt makes. If you toss in a basic command like, write learning objectives for a change management course, you're going to get a really generic, textbook-sounding response. But with an expert prompt, you add highly specific parameters like, use the format students will and so that. It's like flipping a switch. The output instantly becomes targeted, measurable, and perfectly aligned with actual teaching standards. Those tiny tweaks yield huge differences. Okay, Section 3, Supercharging Course Preparation, the Educator's Arsenal. Let's pivot into the practical applications for teachers. We have all stared at a blank computer screen suffering from that dreaded blank page syndrome when trying to design a new syllabus. Well, AI is essentially the ultimate cure for the blank page. It is amazing what happens when you combine ChatGPT with established frameworks like Bloom's taxonomy. Instead of just asking for random ideas, you can ask the AI to generate learning objectives specifically geared towards the remembering level or the applying level. You instantly get high-quality learning goals mapped perfectly to cognitive complexity. You can literally knock out a whole term's worth of objectives in minutes. It's an unbelievable head start. And this time-saving effect cascades across all your prep work. This tech could literally give you your Sunday afternoons back. You can fire off requests for icebreaker questions tailored specifically to college seniors. You can ask it how to lay out your whiteboard for a history lecture. You can feed it an assignment prompt and have it instantly build a custom 15-point grading rubric. It's a brainstorming partner for fresh project ideas and seminar discussion prompts. The volume of work you can get out of the way before you even step foot in a classroom is just staggering. Section 4. The ultimate teaching assistant, scaling your impact. Now, once the class actually starts, the workload always ramps up. This is where you bring in ChatGPT as your tireless teaching assistant. Providing deep, personalized feedback to every single student is a fast track to teacher burnout, but AI finally lets you scale your impact.
You can completely offload the heavy lifting. Have the AI do a first-pass grade on student essays just to catch basic structural and grammar issues. That frees you up to give the high-level, nuanced feedback. Teaching a spreadsheet class? Ask it to instantly generate 50 rows of dummy data with names and addresses. It can summarize incredibly dense reading material for students who need a little extra scaffolding, or whip up vocabulary flashcards in seconds. Offloading these tedious chores gives you the space for actual human connection and teaching. Here is a brilliantly specific use case. You can set ChatGPT up to act as an interactive quizmaster. You prompt it to ask a student multiple choice questions, but just one at a time. If the student guesses wrong, the AI doesn't just hand over the right answer. It pauses, provides an instant explanation of exactly why they were wrong, and then moves on. It's this endless, totally patient feedback loop tailored to the learner's own pace.
Now, up to this point, we've only really looked at this from the teacher's perspective, but the real paradigm shift happens when we completely flip the script. What happens when we stop trying to hide this technology and we put it directly into the hands of the students? Which brings us to Section 5, Empowering the Student Experience, the Student's Toolkit. The big goal here is helping students realize that this tool is not just a shortcut to write their essays so they can go play video games. When they use it correctly, it's a wildly powerful digital tutor that deepens their understanding of literally any subject. It's fascinating how the AI can perfectly scale its explanations. If a student is totally stuck on a complex idea, they can type, "Explain this to me like I'm a 7-year-old." The AI will break it down using super simple analogies, like robot helpers. Once the student grasps that foundation, they can level up and say, "Okay, now explain it to a 16-year-old. Then the AI introduces the real vocabulary, like machine learning and algorithms. It meets the student exactly where their comprehension level is at that exact moment. And the ways students can actively use this are virtually endless. Learning Dutch? They can tell the AI to converse in Dutch and instantly have a native speaking language partner. Prepping for a debate? Have the AI argue the opposing side. They can run immersive simulations, like acting as a campus safety officer responding to an emergency, to practice real-world decision-making. They can paste their messy, half-finished lecture notes in and ask the AI to expand on them. For coding students, it's basically an absolute must-have for troubleshooting lines of code. And here is perhaps the wildest, most counterintuitive strategy in the entire playbook. Require the use of AI. Make it mandatory. Instead of playing whack-a-mole trying to police it, have students predict what the AI will say before they prompt it. Or have them generate an essay using AI, and then force the student to grade the robot's essay using the class rubric. It's beautifully ironic, right? Having a human grade a machine. But it teaches vital information literacy. It forces students to critically analyze the text, spot the hallucinations, and understand the tool's weaknesses. Look, the arrival of AI in education isn't some passing fad. It is a fundamental shift in how we process and synthesize information. We can't shove the genie back in the bottle. So the question isn't how we stop it. The real question is, how are you going to adapt your own workflow, your study habits, and your classroom to embrace it rather than fear it? I challenge you to take just one actionable tip from today's explainer. Stop fighting the tide and start actively integrating this into your learning journey. Thanks for joining me today, Focus Learners. Catch you next time.